strokes the three from the left wing.
Gagliardi, why not? He's feeling it. He's from three.
Goodness. Junior down the lane, drops to Rainwater for a two-handed slam.
That's what you do. He will tear down a rim this year.
Largely able to blow by the pressure. Now a lob. Rivers throws it down. Cato tries it again. You bet. Caleb Cato, back-to-back threes.
Welcome aboard to the Screecher Report podcast. Once again, I am Russell Kelly on the mic. And again, I'm flying solo because my co-host, Elliott is in training to be a Jedi. He's a youngling, so please stay away from Anakin. No, really, Elliott decided to join a pack of coyotes and live as one of them, so we wish him the best. On to basketball. Classes started back up in August, and miraculously, it's already September, but the FGCU soccer teams are already making a bunch of noise, so that's fun to watch. And the men's and women's basketball teams are back together in the gym, getting some work in, and just kind of gelling before this year starts. I think it's really like maybe one of the most important times of the year for basketball teams. Summer's great because all the new players come in and you get to bond on and off the court, and that's awesome. But you know, not everyone's there all the time, and it's more workouts than it is practices. And this time of year, the teams really start practicing in anticipation of, you know, competing come November. So we can't wait to hopefully get out to practice soon and see what all the hype's about, right? We've been absent for a couple weeks now. Things kind of get hectic with classes starting back up and, you know, people not knowing their schedules, but we're picking things back up here. We're a small operation, but we love basketball, obviously, and we really want to incorporate the women's team into our coverage more consistently, especially with just, how charismatic the women have always been over the years and how dominant they've always been and how dominant they'll continue to be. How can we not, make them a bigger focus in our brand? So we have our Nest Newcomers article, but the women's basketball edition set to release on Monday. We're really excited about that. The women return an insanely high percentage, something like 90 of their scoring, and Coach Smesko, true to form, found a way to bring in even more talent and set things up for this team to, maybe do some special things this year. Specifically, there are 4 new players for the women's team. It's Kayla Webb, Carly Shea, Milan Schimmel, forgive me for pronunciation, and Kendall Spray. And we were lucky enough to chat with Kendall for a few minutes and pick her brain about some things in anticipation of that full-length article. So we'll end the pod with that interview. Thank you very much for listening, and please enjoy. So we want to welcome a big-time transfer all the way from Clemson, joining FGCU women's basketball. Welcome Kendall Spray to the Screecher Report podcast. Kendall, how are you doing? So I know school just started back up, and how are you liking Fort Myers and FGCU so far?
I'm loving it. Just being here in Florida has been great for me, and I'm excited to get the school year and the season started. Awesome.
And so there are a couple things that I have to ask. So you're transferring from Clemson. Did you happen to ever cross paths with Trevor Lawrence, or better yet, that girl who dresses up like him?
I haven't crossed paths with that girl, but yes, I have seen Trevor around. He's a very great person, and I'm excited for his future in the NFL. Yeah, for sure. And 2, be honest, how much did your decision to come to FGCU have to do with the fact that your last name's Spray and the team's longtime tagline has been raining threes? I did recognize that on the court, just warming up here in the summer and everything, and then just knowing the style of play that Smesko likes to play with, so that was definitely a big hit for me. Right. But in reality, you had a lot of success at Clemson. Now you get granted another year, and you choose to come to play for Coach Smesko at FGCU. What went into your decision, for real, just to come here and finish out your career? I would have to say, first of all, the coaching staff, they're great people, and they're all interested in how you're doing that on the court, but off the court as well. And then style of play for sure, just knowing that I do shoot a lot of threes and he likes to play through that and he wants to get a lot of shots up in games. That was definitely a big part of my decision to come here.
So in respect to Smesco and just how excellent the program has been, at the same time, the name recognition isn't necessarily there because FGCU's history is really just getting started. But just out of curiosity, from someone who was recently not at FGCU but at a bigger program, what's the outside opinion of FGCU's women's program and Coach Smesco?
The winning tradition is very well known, and just how he develops his teams to make it really far in the NCAA tournament like nobody else really. And just the reputation that he does have, it's winning, and he's going to do whatever it takes, and he wants to beat the big programs, and that I think it's going to get better along the way.
For sure. And, so you're coming here, and not to mention with several other new players, but even including all of this talent that's being brought in, there are so many returners, and a huge percentage of the scoring from last year is coming back, and you average a good amount of points too. So I mean, how good can this team be?
From what I've heard and seen so far, we have great potential. Just knowing how much depth we do have, that somebody is tired or needs to come out, the same same type of player is going to come in and bring that same energy and effort. So I think this team can definitely go a long way. So
I know you're a big-time three-point shooter, as you mentioned, and as it's well known, I believe among active players, like some of the most three-point shots taken and made, of course. But beyond that, what do you feel you can bring to the table for this team this year?
I would say leadership, just a loud communicator and being like the vocal leader on the court. And on defense, just being a guard, but also being able to rebound and take charges if need be, and just the little things, cheering on the bench, listening, showing a good attitude. Just all of that goes into being a good player besides just the offensive part.
Right, and that's all stuff that adds up to winning tradition. So what has it been like so far? I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you were at Clemson your whole career. So what has it been like assimilating with your new teammates and just kind of, getting in groove and stuff like that?
It's actually been a great transition. Just everybody's been very welcoming, and being here in the summer definitely helped, just getting a good feel for how things are going to be and just getting that advantage really from the summer and building the relationships before we actually started real practice.
Sure. And so, I mean, all that adds up to, on paper, you guys should run the conference and like is always done around here, and have a strong opportunity to make some noise in the tournament. But what can you do to make sure that the talent and the success doesn't stay on paper and that it shows itself in games throughout the season? What can you guys do to make sure that happens?
I think it starts with practice and what we do individually, and it's not what coach can do on the court or the extra work he can put in, but it's what we're willing to do and sacrifice for each other. And it's more about the we part and not the me. So just doing the extra work out of practice to make sure that that does correlate to what we can show on the court.
I love it. So any personal goals for you this season, your last collegiate year likely, and as well as team goals for the rest of the off season and also once the season begins?
For me, I would like to win a ring. I haven't won a conference championship or anything like that in my career. And obviously that would be a team goal for us. But then making it further in the NCAA tournament, like Sweet 16, like I think that's a big goal for us, and just playing together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're super thankful for you coming on. That's going to be it from us, and we look forward to using your name to make a ton of incredibly corny headlines and tweets, but all in good fun. I'm sure you will be spraying down threes all season, but we're really excited to see you on the court with the rest of the newcomers and all those returners. What could be a really special season. Thank you for coming on, Kendall.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for listening, and thank you to Kendall for joining us here at Screecher Report. Don't forget to follow us on most major social platforms and, of course, at ScreecherReport.com. Peace and go Eagles.